What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. We're actually going to be heading over to Aaron's shop, give you some updates on the E36, let you know how it looks, what's going on with it, and yeah, so let's go around for a ride. For those who don't know, I have an E36 M3, it's a 95, and I'm currently getting an LS3 motor swap in it right now. This engine was actually approved by California State Board of Air, whatever, and it's actually approved to be placed into vehicles 95 and older. As of right now, the car's been gone for quite a while. If you guys have been following my channel for a minute, you guys know that I've been sprinkling a couple updates here and there about it. The engine's already in, Aaron's wiring it up. There's little tidbits here and there that we still need to work on. It's also been a minute since I came out with any content, so I apologize for that. It's just been crazy. Like, the end of the year, it's just been so hectic. I'm planning on traveling internationally. My wife just got her passport. Yay! We're planning on going to Japan and the Philippines, so trying to save money for that. Still trying to do my car thing, you know what I mean? Like, we haven't bought anything new recently with car parts or anything like that, so that's still a struggle. Yeah, my priorities, man, has pretty much kind of shifted a little bit. I'm not saying I'm not doing car stuff, it's just more so that I'm saving up money for the things I actually really want. Jeez, I just want so many different things. I also still want to get a Porsche 911 GT3, which I've already come to the conclusion that that will more than likely be my midlife crisis car. So still got a couple more years before that happens, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I feel like I've just been rambling on, so I'll see you guys when we get to the shop. All right, we are here at the shop. What's up, Aaron?
Oh,
what you got going on? Bleeding the brakes?
Yeah, doing like a pre-bleed, I guess.
Ah, okay.
Just waiting on Rob to do the
intake.
And
yeah.
I'm sure he'll do it sooner than later. He's here a lot. So.
Sweet. So that's what we got going on. Just waiting for the intake.
Yep.
And we kind of pre-fit like that 90 degree.
Yeah,
it actually
did. Good.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool, yeah.
I think, I'm curious if it's going to clear the hood and stuff, or if we're going to have to cut this, but just to get the webbing out of it.
Right. Yeah, this section there,
That's okay. If that happens, whatever.
Yeah. We're already at this stage of the game. It's kind of like, I'm not going to let that stop us.
Cutting some stuff is not going to be a problem.
Especially since we've already cut other areas, you know.
Stuff, and just like we could put that on there. I just don't want to do that.
Right.
I'd rather not like overfuel it or do anything weird on the ECU's very first ever
startup.
Yeah.
Right. No, I got you.
Well, I'm sure like the warranty scenario, they probably not be like if like something happened. And
right.
Like, oh yeah, it turns out you
didn't
started it without the map up, and now everything's void.
Yeah. True.
There's all kinds of finicky weird things.
Right.
Hit that void scenario.
Yeah, we wanna avoid that as much as possible. So like Aaron's been the mastermind of pretty much throwing this beast of a car together, and he's pretty much.
Should we show underneath like the diff and everything?
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. Rob did our custom exhaust here in the back as well. Let me zoom out a little bit. So we got those quad tips, which I thought looked pretty cool. Definitely like at the end of this whole thing being put together and then barred and all that stuff, I feel like we have to have like a sit down with a beer and a pizza just to talk about the challenges that you had and what you would give advice for. Because I think the biggest thing I think we had a challenge with, especially with Aaron, is like trying to find the correct research, and like it was a lot of trial and error. Would you say, Aaron?
Yeah, there's like, you know, there's only a couple people that have done this specific swap,
right?
And not everybody's done it the same way,
right.
We're lucky because we have a 95, which is OBD1,
right?
And the difference was there was another guy that did a 96, which is OBD2. Which is way more difficult than this. Right.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest misconceptions that I had was that, oh, I bought the E-Rod motor, it comes with everything you need. I bought the Sicky kit to like get it installed, and it should be a plug and play. And it's definitely not that. Like, totally not.
Show them the pedal.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
That
yeah.
Was kind of an interesting scenario if you look inside.
So if you guys can see that there, that pedal looks stock because that actually came from an E36 BMW. And the initial pedal we were going to use was from the actual E-Rod kit itself.
Oh, that's over here.
Which
peek at it.
Would have been kind of weird to Jimmy rig into the car because you'd have to make brackets and.
Well, this is the thing where we're worried if this is going to be okay.
Right.
But yeah, the pedal like the lever being on the top, the way that this goes like that,
right,
would have felt so strange. Considering it's one of the only tactile things
that you're gonna be
using,
right?
Besides, like, obviously the shifter, and
right,
stuff. But I want it to feel like stock.
Right, exactly. I like that it looks OEM still. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like it was like hacked.
Good.
Right, right.
If you look at the distance of travel that it has, it's very minimal. Like how much space between full throttle and...
That really is small.
Like, I wonder if they're more forgiving in some way.
Maybe.
Like the way that the car drives.
Right, right.
I feel like this, in this car specifically, this would feel like super like jumpy.
Right, right, right.
I don't know if it would feel great during the inspection. If they're gonna be like,
right.
No.
It's like, no, you gotta use the stock one. And we already kind of joked about this too. We're like, okay, well, if we need it just to pass inspection, we'll do it. And then we'll just come back like a week later. I'm like, all right, let's actually do it the way that we wanted to do it. You know what I mean?
Quick tack weld that one in or something.
Right.
We'll bring it over there on a trailer.
Right,
like,
right.
There it is.
There it is. It works.
Give us the sticker,
completely fine.
and then we'll put that one back
exactly.
in. Yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet.
My lift plays a nice little song on the way up because it's cold.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't use it as much, so listen to my voice.
This is the whistling lift. And then while we're underneath the car, you guys can see all the lovely overspray I did when I painted everything.
A lot of people have said it looks a lot better underneath, or from the top, everything's in it.
You're right.
But yeah, when you first brought it back, everyone was like,
yeah. It looked pretty.
Yeah, it was.
I'm not gonna say anything because it was like my first time painting a car, but at the same time, I'm like, I learned a lot.
It was questionable.
Yeah.
Like if you had paid someone to do that.
Oh yeah, that would have sucked.
That would have been a little bit.
So yeah, so this is what it looks like underneath.
Yeah. And I got like, here's like I made a custom ground cable, and then the starter cable's right here, and here's the alternator cable. You could even put a thing over it, but I figured it was okay like that.
Right, right. That looks pretty good.
Here's the catalytic converters all in. I think this is going to be extremely low. What? You might want to raise your car up because
a little bit.
Otherwise, you're going to be bouncing
scraping
off the ground.
Right, right, right. One of the biggest challenges that we had was with these cats to like make sure that they cleared everything and that we got them positioned in a way that they can actually pass. You know.
So this engine is like a little bit heavier than what was in it. I did some research and someone was like, oh my God, that's gonna be crazy, it's so heavy.
Right.
It's about 100 pounds heavier overall, like this drivetrain.
Oh, okay.
You had.
But considering it has like more than 100, almost 150 horsepower more than my previous setup, I'd say that.
Yeah, with the supercharger, and this is still more power.
Yeah, and this is still more power.
Yeah.
Even 100 pounds for another 150 horsepower, I think that's pretty fair.
And like the torque curve is probably more.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know.
It was pretty flat. When I had the supercharged S50, it was pretty flat.
Legit, actually. And then here, factory Corvette fuel pressure regulator. And I used the factory bracket and then put another mount up top here with a nutsert.
Yep, so the differential's back here.
And that has a, I don't know, is it a fresh LSD in it?
Yeah, it's a fresh LSD. It was a 3.8. Yeah, 3.9, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. We went from a 338 to a 3.9, and I got the packs upgraded.
Yeah, he went through the whole thing.
Yep, pretty much refreshed. That was from Stewie.
Kind of a meticulous person. He did a great job. It was really like cool to see what he does.
Right.
I rebuild a lot of Nissan diffs.
Right.
So seeing what he does with them is exciting for me because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna implement some of those.
Right.
Things. These Borla Attack mufflers. So those should sound pretty cool. I mean, it's literally catalytic converters in these.
Right.
My thought is, I think this car's gonna be relatively quiet at idle because there's no cam. It's not like the crazy shit we do with like these and stuff where it's like, oh, we're gonna put big ass cam and long tube headers.
Right, right.
It has cats, it has mufflers, there's no cam. I think it's gonna start up and it's gonna be kind of quiet.
Right,
and then you get on throttle.
Get on it and then it'll waken everything up.
Yeah. You'll be able to sit next to someone at the stoplight and they'll have no idea. Hopefully everything works.
Yeah.
Kind of got to a point where I was like, you know, the fit and finish is cool, but like I really wanted to see it run.
Right, right, right.
So I've been like doing my best, but there's just so much stuff that we got to put in and like make it work.
Right.
Like I'm excited to see every gauge work.
Right.
That's what my goal is.
That would be pretty sweet,
This will be the coolant temp sensor on the factory gauge cluster, and then RPM should all be hooked up.
Right.
I might not be perfect, but I'm wondering how close it's gonna be.
Right.
You have your tack out, and then there's a bulkhead connector, and then you hook that up to the tachometer. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but I hooked everything up. I looked up the resistance value that people typically use for this, and it was about 1,000 ohms.
Okay.
So it has a 1,000 ohm resistor in it. Weird Weibo.
Oh yeah.
Thing or whatever.
So that we had this huge issue with the drive shaft where we had ordered it from Siki, and I thought it was like a plug and play.
Oh, they gave you the weird converter.
Yeah, and they gave us like this like spacer thing that was supposed to stick in between the drive shaft and the differential. And we ended up just like not using that at all. We actually...
Yeah, the drive shaft is completely custom.
Right, so yeah, it's pretty much...
I don't know how well you can see it, but we just had them put the correct... it was funny, they sent us another converter, because they sent us basically an aluminum Weibo for like the front of a drive shaft on the back side of a ZF transmission.
And it wasn't even the right...
This isn't even the right thing.
Exactly.
So I called them up, and they're like, well, send us that back, and we'll send you the right thing. So I put that on, and it made the drive shaft too long.
Right.
And then I was like, well, why don't we just put the proper U-joint on it?
Right.
And then it actually made the drive shaft perfect.
Perfect.
We didn't even have to adjust the length. So this is the drive shaft they sent us, just with
the correct.
Yeah, we actually switched to a 4-bolt flange when we rebuilt the diff.
Right.
Because it had the 6-bolt like CV axle style flange.
Right. Yeah, that's true. We actually went out of our way to make the to match up the drivetrain.
That was terrible.
Yeah, that sucked, man.
That whole thing.
We did that.
That's why we rebuilt the diff too.
Yeah.
Was because we're like, oh, we're gonna switch to a 4-bolt so we can run their weird converter, because they're like, oh yeah, we're not gonna have a CV thing for that.
Right. Yeah, it's actually kind of funny to think of it that way too. Like we really went out of our way to make that drive shaft work, to make it work. And we did everything, like even converted the diff bolt pattern to make it fit, and it still didn't work.
And the drive shaft shop that would have built the drive shaft for this car is where I took it to have them just redo
it. Yep.
So we had to go there anyway.
Well, I live and I learn.
Well, I mean, hopefully other people too.
Right.
And then because your car, the front end's all bent, I moved this over.
Yeah.
So this is
that had to be adjusted.
The whole trans is kicked over. I don't know if that had an effect with it at all, but I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. And if it did, I don't think it would have been that big of a difference. Where
it wouldn't have been
huge.
Like, it actually would have made. I think it would have made the drive shaft have to be longer.
Right. Look at this like overspray here.
Yeah. Peel. It's like peeling off.
Yeah. I had like
peeling off a scab.
Two what do you call it? I had 2 space heaters in my garage, dude. Because I was trying to heat up the garage, and before I started spraying, I let the space heaters heat up for like 2 hours before I went into the garage. It probably would have been a lot worse. Like if I didn't have space heaters,
just doing it cold.
Exactly, there probably would have been hella runs.
Oh yeah, I don't know how you would have done it differently. I mean, we could literally start it right now. Like I got it to crank a little bit. I just like hit the starter, and I was like, okay, it does it. Primes fuel. I was like sick.
I'll be patient. As much as I'm like, oh, I want to really hear it.
Well, we'll see where Rob gets this week. He's good.
Sweet.
All right.
Take it easy, dude. See ya. All right, guys. So there you have it. Yeah, E36 is getting there, man. I know you guys have been asking me about it for a while, and I'm super excited. I really am super excited. We're really closing in. Can't wait for it to finally run. So if you guys like this video, hit that like button, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.